Okay, so I did a video already on the first time that I felt my light body, and this is the second part to it. And I want to show you some images that I did when I was trying to understand this experience. And I used art a lot, really, as a form of like divination, really. Like I was connecting with my subconscious mind, I was connecting with my intuition, connecting to things that my logical mind would not have been able to understand. And often when I did use art, I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know what these images meant. I thought they were maybe quite fanciful, but with time and accumulated images and synchronistic experiences and visions and memories and things like that, they would come together and they would show me that actually they were portraying quite accurate information. And I think that's part of what's happening as to us now, by reconnecting to our hearts and reconnecting to our souls and reconnecting to God. We're reconnecting to that sense of inner knowing, which, compared to the times that we've lived in, this makes no logical sense. Like, you don't need to necessarily read books, you don't necessarily need a degree or get permission from a person in authority to gain access to any information. In our hearts and our souls, we are connected to everything that, and everything that ever was, and all this information can become available to us. But we do have to get past that egoic and logical state of being that just will, doesn't believe it's possible, and will be worried about what people think, doesn't want to be seen as crazy. And you may have stored traumas in your being from this lifetime or other lifetimes, where the penalty for sharing any information like this was very, very serious. So anyway, babbled on. So yeah, this one, when I drew this one, I was getting a lot of information, and I had meant to call my channel Dragon Roses of Ireland, but somebody advised me that that wasn't a good idea because it didn't explain what the channel was about, and I wish I had called it that, and I might have to start another channel called Dragon Roses of Ireland now. So I was trying to connect with this experience when I was not in my physical body, where I experienced flying with a tail, with these dragon beings and snake-like beings. And this one made me think very much of the saying in the Bible, "Be ye wise as serpents and gentle as a dove," because there's a lot of if you were to say to somebody, I experienced being like a flying snake or serpent or a dragon, or a lot of people can get creeped out by that. It can especially trigger Christians and Catholics. It comes across as demonic, and so this doesn't have to be demonic. It can be beautiful. Okay, and yeah, this one is a bit cartoony like, but again, I just wanted to connect. This was more the dragon type. And this is symbolic, yet at the same time it's based on truth that I was trying to connect with from memory and intuition and my soul. So her heart, she can see her heart's on fire, her rose is blooming, her heart is blooming, and her essence can be released. And she has like flaming hair, flaming hair, and red hair, And I know that the red hair can be connected to the rhesus negative, which some people believe that bloodline was a race that was hunted. But also, like, I always think of a flaming rose when I see a woman with red hair. So it's also used as a symbol for a flaming rose, I think. And gold is important. Gold is the colour of the soul, and gold is the colour of our can be the colour of our aura in a purified state, and gold can be the colour of Venus or copper. So yeah, but this one is very like I would have thought this one was one of the more cartoony like images, but me and my daughter watched this movie called Magical Adventures in the Hidden City, and I'll put on the clip for you. And in that movie, it's interesting because it's about people who are put into lockdown because of a disease, and they all have to wear masks, and the government says it's for their protection, but actually the government are trying to hunt down these people with these magical abilities. So very interesting. And I'll put a clip in of that movie. Yeah, so here's that clip that I wanted to show you. And as you can see, she's quite like my flaming rose dragon image, and she's definitely like a mermaid with wings, or a serpent with wings. She's also very like the Holy Ghost or a fairy, and as we all know, fairies have fairy tales. So there's the fairy tale. And just the clip is very short. That's it really. So here's another one, and this one's more like a Native American image. And yeah, when I did these, I hadn't really connected with the inner sun and the goddess being the consort to the outer sun and the masculine. But anyway, there is the sun. And yeah, these images, they don't have to be creepy. Like, and in the age that we're coming out of now, in many ways the feminine was made to be seen as demonized and creepy as well, you know. She's really not. She doesn't have to be anyway. This one might trigger some Christians or Catholics, but again, it was just me trying to understand something inside of me, and it's very Isis-like, and yeah. So the crucifixion of the rose on the cross, and the crucifixion of our Kundalini energy, Kunda Mary, the Holy Ghost. So the crucifixion of our heart, the crucifixion of Jesus Christ. So to me, they're all saying the same thing, and partly, I mean, you could speak it in many ways, but a very simple way of putting it is that as we went into creating a world from our minds, and we left God, and we created our ego, it was going to be too painful to live through this time with an open heart. So we had to sacrifice our heart to go through this stage of growth. And then when we have completed this stage of growth, we can be resurrected. So resurrected from the spiritually dead. Because by disconnecting from our hearts and disconnecting from God to create our own world, we became spiritually dead. We forgot that other part of ourselves. We forgot our feminine, we forgot our soul, but we're now remembering our soul, and lots of people are having these experiences. And really that's what I believe this lockdown is about. It's about, you know, we're going into sort of a spiritual quarantine, if you like, while we adjust to this new world, because the old world is crumbling, and we're going into a completely new world, and we're coming out of a world of the ego and we're going into a world of the heart. So they're starkly different. And you know, while we go through this egoic death, people are very afraid, and the egoic death will bring up all of your worst fears, and everybody's worst fears are different. So I suppose in a way it does benefit some people to do that with space and peace, and a lot of people won't face themselves unless they have space and peace. Yeah, the mask I would say is very symbolic of the ego, the false self. And that's the other challenge that we're having to meet. Like, we can't really open our hearts fully and connect with our souls and God unless we fully embrace who we truly are. But in a way that's what I'm trying to do with this channel. I'm trying to fully embrace who I really am. Like, I'm not really trying to do this for any egoic or identity type reasons. I'm just trying to reach myself, and I'm not across the bridge by any means, you know, but I am searching, and I'm willing to die to my false self to do that. Okay. And there's another image that I did. This is really simple, and it's like practically a sketch with paint. That's all it is. But I think it does show how I feel when I'm flying. Very liberating and lovely. Not demonic or evil in any shape or form. Liberating and lovely. That's how I feel when I fly. And I don't have these experiences as often as I used to. Like, when I did have my Kundalini awakening, I was actually in a very purified state. Like, I did go on mostly raw food for a year, and I went to live in the forest, and I drank spring water, and I seemed to know what I needed to do, but I didn't know why. Like, I was telling people I'm climbing Jacob's ladder, but I didn't know what Jacob's ladder was. And I do believe that I'd done this before. Well, I know I'd done this before. So in this life I didn't know what I was doing, but I did know. And so a lot of what fasting can be about is really just cleaning your vessel so it functions properly. Like, it doesn't function very well when it's clogged up with you know, physical toxins or decaying matter. You know, a lot of people have decaying matter in their guts still from years, and or their colon, and there's huge purification of the emotional body, which like, each stage of purification is challenging for me, and I think for women in general. Purification of the emotional body can be a big one, and I'm only just really getting a handle on that. I did end up with post-traumatic stress at one stage of this journey, and I had to do a lot of work to get to a point where I learned that my mind was a tool to be used rather than to allow it to rule me. Okay, so I'm just going to end this video with bit more of the clip on that movie, The Magical Adventures in the Forbidden City, because I think people will find it interesting in how it relates to the lockdown and what we're going through now. I'd also like to add that this movie, if you look at WikiLeaks, was actually released in 2019. So that means that the script for this movie was being made way before the lockdown in March 2020. Okay, so the other thing I'd say is apologies for the echoing that's going on. I don't know about how to make YouTube videos, to be honest, and I don't know how to stop this echoing. And if any of you know how to do it, and you can leave a comment for me, I'd be delighted. Yeah. Or if any of you know of a very simple program to make YouTube videos with, that would also be really helpful. Okay, thank you very much. Thank you.
This is the head of the security department speaking. To keep citizens safe from a terrible disease, the borders of the city have been closed.
The violence caused such silence. Who are we mistaken? But you see, it's not me, it's not my family. In your head, they are fighting.
They walk around in masks. But who are they really? Dad could be one of them.
In your head, they are crying.
You must know, there is no epidemic, no infection. All this is just a cover for the authorities to justify taking away anyone with a gift. This gift, it has awakened in you.
I'm not staying here. I will find him.
Just in your head, zombie.
Okay, so yeah, the quality probably wasn't very good in that, but yeah, it's also interesting the way when it says this gift that the authorities are trying to hunt down. When he says that, he said this gift has awakened in you, and then it shows the all-seeing eye, and the corona of the eye lights up. So that's really interesting too, because the corona means the light around the eye, or it can mean the crown, and also sorry, I've got lost. The eyes are the window to the soul. That's what I was trying to say. So I would interpret this, that what is being awakened, that is being hunted in us by the authorities, would be the soul. And yeah, throughout history, those that tried to connect, those that were connected with their soul, were hunted through the persecutions. They were burned alive as witches, etc. Anybody who had that connection to their soul. And a lot of the interpretations of being connected to the soul have been interpreted as demonic. So the eyes are the window to the soul. Her corona lights up. And this is also, the corona also relates to the crown. The crown, my understanding of the crown is also your ability, your crown chakra, when all your chakras are in harmony through connecting with your heart and your soul, your crown chakra is able to create reality in a surrendered state to God. So that's how I would interpret that. Okay, I'm not very clear, I know, but this is where I am right now, so this is how I have to do it. Okay, thank you.